Good morning. Welcome to today's reading of Ruby on the Outside. We are picking up on page 154. Let's get started. She calls me as soon as I get in the door from camp. I have to run into the kitchen to answer it before the machine picks up. She calls me even though we just saw each other a few minutes ago. I don't know, I tell her. I won't know till tomorrow. I really need my own phone. Good luck, Margaret says. This time when my mom walks into the visitor's room, she doesn't come over and throw her arms around me like she usually does. This time she waits for me. My mom sits down at the table. I'm going to get some coffee, Matu says. She pushes her chair back and stands. I can tell from the way she looks at my mother that they've discussed this already on the phone. Matu is going to give us some privacy. There's no privacy in prison, so this is as close as we can get. Actually, I'm nervous when Matu leaves. My mother starts. I got your story, Ruby. You're a wonderful writer. You're so talented. I love Trudy. She's a great character. She's got a lot of courage, like you, Ruby. I know a mother is supposed to say that, but still, it feels good. So, do you want me to talk about it? My mother asked me. I do, of course I do. But I can already feel our time disappearing, being taken from me. There's big clock above the CO's tall desk, and it's moving in fast motion. I can hear the ticking of the second hand from here. Sure, I say. I hear my mother taking a deep breath, but I still haven't lifted my eyes to see hers. You want to know what really happened that night? I am silent. I can't say either way, if I want to know more or I don't. I really just want to be a kid. I don't want to have to hear this, but I don't want not to. I bury my face in my arms, crossed on the table, and all I have now is her voice. Like all she had was my voice when I wrote that story, and then she read it. Have I ever really said I'm sorry, Ruby? My mother starts. Have I? I keep my head hidden and she goes on. I'm so sorry, Ruby. I'm sorry that my mistakes have affected your whole life and every aspect of it. That is something I have to live with. And for as long as you need to talk about it or cry or be angry or write about it, I will listen to you. In my story, Trudy was so angry in ways I didn't even know I felt until I wrote them down. Now my mother knows too, but she keeps talking, softly. She is stroking my hair. I didn't pull the trigger and hurt that boy Josh, but I allowed it to happen, and even if I couldn't have stopped it, I am responsible. She says we are all responsible for one another, even people we don't know. It's like watching someone get bullied in school and not doing anything about it, just because you're scared, or just because you don't want to get involved. I can see from under my folded arms all the way across the room to where Matu is standing by the vending machine. She's been there so long, pretending that she isn't trying to decide what she wants to eat. They don't let you walk around in here, so she's got to look busy. I see her pulling one of those cup of soups out of the little door and going over to the microwave to warm it up. My mother goes on, you want to go along on your way because that's the easier thing to do. And some people live their whole lives that way, and it works for them. But one day we'll all need someone, a stranger maybe, and you want to believe they will do the right thing. I lift my head. But you didn't? No, I didn't, she says. And an innocent boy lost his life. Josh Tips? My mother nods her head. And you, and I will never forgive myself for what I did to you either. But then you did do something. You stayed in the store with him. Why did you do that? Why didn't I run? Like Nick did? She doesn't want to say his name out loud, I can tell. Yeah. I hardly remember that night, Ruby, but when I realized what was happening, what was about to happen, it was like my eyes were forced open. The danger of the whole life I had been living, that we had been living, was so clear, and I hated myself in that moment. I would do anything, Ruby, to do it over again. I see that she is trying hard not to cry, not to look weak, but to be strong for me. But you didn't deserve that, she is saying. Her jaw is so tight, I want to reach out and touch her face. I want to make everything okay. You've had to pay the price for my mistake, and that will never be all right. And to think you even thought it was your new friend's brother. Aunt Barbara told me. That must have been awful. That must have been so awful. Ruby, I am so sorry. Finally, Matu comes back with 2 bottles of water and apple juice for me, and 3 cheeseburgers and her cup of soup, all piping hot. I wish you could meet Margaret, I say. I know, sweetie. I feel like I have, in a way, from your story. What did you name her in your story? Moochie. Oh, right, Moochie. That's such a terrific name. Maybe one day in the future, my mom will come home and meet Margaret in person. She could meet Margaret's mom, and Margaret's mom could bake those cookies, and my mom would see Lulu, and we'll be together. But it won't be soon. I know that more than ever. Now more than ever. When my mom is released from prison, I will be 31 years old. That is way too far outside my brain for me to handle right now. Right now, we are having this delicious feast. I love these cheeseburgers, just the three of us, and for now, it is as right as we can make it.